What's up, West Viera? It's time for the market update that you've been waiting for. You're literally probably on the edge of your seats for this. Let me throw on my spectacles because we have some data to go over and it helps me look a little bit smarter. All right, guys, let's talk about total sales in West Viera. So West Viera is defined as anything west of 95 in the Viera area. And for this video, we're only focusing on single family homes. So in June 2025, we saw 52 closed homes in the entire month. When we compare that to last year, there was a total of 46 closed transactions, and that represents a 13% increase in total sales for the month of June when we're comparing it to June of 2025 to 2024. Median sales price, $717,250. This is up from last month. It's about a 3% increase. And when we look at last year, guess what that increase is? It's a 10% increase when we're looking at the median sales price for homes in West Viera. That's a very large increase. Median days on market for June was 42. That was actually a decrease from the previous month, so in May, and that was 51. So homes are just moving a little bit faster. Now let's talk about the median sold to original list ratio. It's a ratio I track because buyers, it lets you understand that negotiation window, and sellers, it kind of allows you to understand like what your home could potentially sell for if you're looking at sort of like a buffer on that if a buyer comes in and to negotiate. And we're seeing a lot of that, honestly, in this market. So the stat is proving that June was 96.4%, which means there's about a 4% or 3.5% negotiation window on most homes from what they're listed at to what they sell below. That number is almost a mirrored image of what May was. All right, guys, so that was some of the basic facts I like to cover. Let's talk about some of the trends that I'm noticing. So in June, 6 homes sold in the million and up price category. And those communities are gonna be, we had 2 in Adelaide, 2 in Summer Lakes, 1 in Laurasia, and 1 in Reeling Park. And I actually sold one of the homes in Summer Lakes. It was one of my favorite listings, one of my favorite homes that I've had the opportunity to list. If you haven't seen that house, you should check out the video we did on that because that house was insane. Huge lot, beautifully done, a remarkable home, and that price point, I don't think you can match that really anywhere else for the given land. We saw lots of movement in that southern sector of West Viera. So that's going to be the communities Tresona Cove, which is going to be east and west, Sierra Cove and Sendero Cove. And not really too surprising to see that based on the age of these homes. So they started building those communities in 2017 and really closed out around 2022. And if we understand the normal sort of cadence of sellers, right, they're moving every 5 to 7 years on average, it just makes a lot of sense that we're seeing more movement in there. Additionally, there's a trend in Viera builder communities where once you build with Viera builders and they start developing a new community, most of these people, they actually upgrade or they might do a lateral move to another home that Viera has built, effectively being just new. And lastly, I'm still seeing a lot of buyer concessions and negotiations, and this is the market for that. So we're seeing just a lot of negotiating on price. We're seeing concessions up front in the format of closing costs or whatever it may be. And then even after inspections, we're seeing buyers leverage the report to either go for after what we call money grab. So they're asking the seller to give concessions for X, Y, and Z repairs, or they just leverage some of the deficiencies on that report and just try to get some money off that price of the home. But we're seeing that a lot. And what I just want to say is, buyers, if you see that dream home of yours and you just think it might be a little out of reach because what that list price is, I want to encourage you to maybe reconsider your approach. There is the opportunity where there are a lot of sellers that list at a certain value and they are expecting buyers to bring in an offer below that, and then they just want to negotiate and come to terms at some sort of compromise. All right, last segment, let's break down the purchase type. So this is where we go through the transactions and we get a better understanding of what went VA, conventional, and cash, and if there's a weird one like an exchange or an assumption loan. 46% of the transactions went to conventional financing, so nearly half. 27% went to cash buyers, which is a little bit down from last month, but we're still seeing a lot of cash in this market, which is kind of surprising. 25% of these transactions represented VA buyers, and that's up from the previous month, so let's go VA. And then we had one exchange deal, which just represents 2%, but a 1031 exchange, so a tax deferral program is what this essentially is. So in total, 71% of all transactions in West Viera were financed. And I only bring this up because I want to prep sellers. So you have a very high probability of a buyer purchasing your home using some form of financing. And when we see financing, that means inspections need to pass for 4-point inspection so that they can get insurance, because if they can't get insurance, they can't get a loan, they can't buy your house. So expect a financing deal to come through and expect some things to potentially come up on that report that you may or may not need to repair. All right, guys, that's all for now. I'll see you next month.